What's up guys, it's Smith here and today I'm presenting to you our official Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League review, the latest in the DC universe to hit consoles everywhere, and it's another game that isn't an Arkham game, which immediately means the internet is going to hate it and give it endless amounts of shit for no actual reason. It's also a gas or a live service game, which is going to further compound the amount of shit it gets. And then it's also Warner Brothers, who also seem to get a fair amount of additional shit for reasons I don't quite understand. And I already know how this is going to go. A year or two ago, I reviewed a similar game, a DC game, that wasn't Arkham. And, well, it was a tough time.
You shouldn't have done that, Shark. That's Superman. He'll kick your ass.
So those were quotes from the comment section on our review for Gotham Knights, which was October 2022, I think. A game I really enjoyed, and I can see this happening again. Gotham Knights was the first time I ever got death threats for a positive review score. Who would have thought it, eh? And I'm going to get similar shit for this one, because despite having a few shortcomings, I've had an absolute blast with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Today, we are going to break down the game into several components. We are going to go over the characters and the story with no spoilers. We're going to dive into the combat and the mission structures, and then we're going to take a look at the game as a service or live service execution to see if it's worth playing, whether you're just looking for a single player story mode or if you're looking to dive in it for the long term.
Yeah, go Superman! Oh fuck, it's Superman!
Kill the Justice League story follows a traditional superhero trope, an impending world-ending event of biblical proportions that only the Earth's greatest heroes could hope to overcome. Well, that would be true if it wasn't for the fact the entire Justice League had been turned into Brainiac's little bitches. Instead of the usual spandex-wearing goody two-shoes, players take the mantle of the Suicide Squad, a ragtag group of Arkham convicts set loose on Metropolis by Amanda Waller, who honestly might just be the greatest villain in the entire DC multiverse. I think she's a good guy, I can't quite tell.
Task Force X, your new mission is to kill the Justice League.
We've got no chance.
The story follows Harley Quinn, Deadshot, King Shark, and Captain Boomerang, who has quickly become one of my all-time favourite characters. He's absolutely fantastic in this, as they attempt to take down the Justice League and destroy the evil Brainiac. This is a tough narrative to sell, even for the folks at Rocksteady. You know, tried and tested, we all know they can deliver on a story, but the Justice Group is a beloved group of characters. They've been around for decades, comic books, movies, video games. They've been everywhere. And then in come the Suicide Squad, who until recent years are practically unheard of in mainstream media. It's a bold move to take the route of the anti-hero, but it's one that pays off tremendously. Kill the Justice League has done for me in the Suicide Squad what Guardians of the Galaxy game did for me with Star-Lord and crew. The characters feel better written, they're given more time to shine. Boomerang's comedy and banter is on point from start to finish, and I lost count of the times that Sharky made me chuckle. It's smooth humour, one that never feels forced or over the top. The banter blends together really well, it's seamless in an otherwise serious story and one that has massive consequences on the universe moving forward. But it never detracts from the peril of the adventure. Everything is so well timed. Excellent writing, the voice work is aced by every single star, the story is one of the game's greatest features and one I encourage any fan of DC to dive into.
Don't sweat it, Batman doesn't kill people.
Before release, when I was playing during the alpha, I think the area I was most concerned about was probably the combat. It didn't really flow very well to me. The lack of a meaningful melee system just felt really off and bizarre. And that was my biggest concern going in. And now I've finished the game, I've done most of the side content, well pretty much all of the side content, I'm at the end game stuff. And the combat quickly turned around to be actually really, really good. Now it is completely dependent on your ability to fully immerse yourself in the combat and really understand the complexities of the different combos you can do, the different counterattacks you can do. It's simple on the surface, but it's the ability to string all these different effects together that will really pay off. I think the satisfaction you get out of the combat in this is going to be completely dependent on your skill as a player. Now, at best, I'm average at these games. They're fast-paced, they're frenetic. I prefer slow, more methodical combat. And as an average player, if I've had this much fun with it, I think everyone else is going to have a blast too. You do really have to dive in, read the tutorial prompts carefully, practice each one as it's thrown at you and really master it, and then bring them all together and you will create some absolutely chaotic fighting scenes that are really thrilling to play. I lost count of the times I wanted to turn to someone to my side and be like, oh, did you see that? Obviously there's no one here because couch gaming died a long time ago, but there's a lot of fun to be had in the combat here. I did main Deadshot almost the entire game. Your character's experience is tied to that character, so you do not level up the other characters as you play. This is mostly useful for endgame stuff because as you level up characters towards the end, your combined character level total across all 4 characters unlocks some additional stat rewards and points for you. However, I would have liked a little bit of an XP share system just so I could switch more freely between the characters. You're definitely not unplayable if you're like a level 2 or 3 playing the much higher level stuff. You'll struggle a little bit more. The game difficulty itself is relatively easy. I think I got 1 game over the entire time and that was on a bit that really irritated me. So if you are what you'd consider a skillful player at these, I'd maybe knock the difficulty up a little bit. You do get rewards better based on difficulty, so it is worth challenging yourself if you want a few extra rewards. Honestly, the combat is probably one of the areas of the game I can complain least about. Everything works, it flows together really well, and when the game gives you the missions that encourage that chaotic, fast-paced combat, that's when it really shines.
We're out on good behavior.
We are not.
Where it struggles, and this seems to be an area that just hits these games as a service things so hard, is the repetition. There's only, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of variations of missions. Each of the sort of sidekick characters you can find, your support staff as they're called in the game, will give you a series of missions you can do to unlock greater rewards. You can unlock weapon enhancements, weapon modifications, new gear, crafting, all that fun stuff. But each character's mission is one mission type and you'll repeat that mission type throughout the entire game. Now, if you just want to turn this on, log in with some friends, have some good fun, there's a lot to be had, but there are certain mission structures that just go against the ethos of the combat system of the game. Like, it's supposed to be this frenetic, fast-paced, exhilarating, thrilling combat system, and that works until you get a couple of modifiers that just slow it right down, and then you're struggling to string stuff together. I guess it's supposed to make you think on your feet and make it a bit more of a challenge, but at the same time, I was having the most fun when I was just blowing up as much shit as humanly possible. That's very subjective. Obviously, if you don't mind the repetitive mission structure, which is something that happens in all these live service games, it probably won't be an issue for you. But as I got towards the end and I'd finished off the side content, it was very much a, thank God, I really can't be asked to do that again. So it's probably one of the areas of the game that I think would be the easiest to improve, but it's also one of the areas the game struggles in most.
You hold off the slavering hordes, I'll do some digital spelunking to see what's what. Bob's your uncle.
I do not have an Uncle Bob. Will we each be assigned an uncle?
Now we move on to the live service part of the game. Now, this is an area that's going to be make or break for an awful lot of people. I'm going to break down the live service stuff, and then we're going to go through if this is a good buy for you if you're just into the single player or you're into the live service stuff. So the end game, while fraught with combat-centric activities, feels convoluted and overwhelming at first. I'm going to try and break it down, but I'm not actually 100% sure I understand it myself. So you farm your mastery level to increase your infamy rank, which in return rewards more powerful artifacts from the infamy sets. The higher the infamy rank, the better the rewards. To unlock higher levels of mastery, you need to complete an incursion on the highest levels of difficulty, thus unlocking a new set of mastery challenge and difficulty options. In short, you repeat the same series of 3 to 4 missions over and over again for marginal improvements to your stats, but some pretty effective and badass set bonuses and abilities from armor sets designed by the villains of the DC universe. It's all too familiar and frankly quite unimaginative approach to the fatiguing live service formula, but one that, if you're a fan of games as a service approach, there's a lot of thrill and playtime here to be had with a really robust and rewarding gear customization suite that encourages and rewards gear loadout customization like few other games in the genre. You can change literally everything about the gear. You can upgrade the gear's rarity for increased stats, you can randomly reroll traits, you can pay a premium for chosen traits. In terms of pure potential for min-maxing builds in a live service environment, very few games launch with a suite of tools this expansive. So ultimately, do I think Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is going to be a thriving live service game 12 months from now? No, I don't think it will be, but there's definitely a niche here for DC fans that want something meaty to grind their teeth into. But what do I know? I enjoyed Avengers, Anthem, Babylon's Fall, and Evolve, so don't listen to me. So, what's the final verdict? If you are coming at this from a single player perspective, if you just want to pick this up, get the story done and move on, I would probably wait for a sale. I love the story, I had a lot of fun in it, but games are expensive nowadays and you've got a lot coming up. So if money is a concern and you've got, I don't know, Final Fantasy VII, you haven't picked up Yakuza yet, I would wait for a sale and then dive in. If you're a Game as a Service fan, honestly, I think this is the best launch we've had in a long time. The story's great, the combat is really good, the min-maxing endgame stuff, while very repetitive very quickly, there is a lot to do to advance your characters through. You get rewarded for maxing all the characters out, so there's a lot to be done. So overall, we're going to score this game an 85 out of 100. I think it's a really, really good title for Rocksteady to come off the back of the Batman games. It's going to get a lot of crap purely because it isn't an Arkham game and it's in the DC world and these games seem to get slated more than others. But have a look for yourself, judge for yourself, and as always, when you're looking at these reviews, read a few reviews, watch a few videos. We always try to be as objective as possible with our scores here at Gamers Heroes, but obviously everybody's unique, everyone's got different fatigue levels for different games, different interests. So do shop around before you pick up any of these games. If you enjoyed the review today, please do like and subscribe. We really do appreciate it. It means a lot. If you've got any questions about the game, post down below and I'll do my best to get back to you if I can. I'm never sure how to end these, so I'll just leave you in the hands of Jack Ryder.
I'm Jack Ryder. Thanks for taking this journey with me.